Hello, hi, welcome back. My name is Eva and today we're back for another MLM horror stories. If you're new here, basically on this channel, I try to help people avoid scams. Feel free to check me out on social media. All the links are going to be down below, and if you have your own MLM experience that you would like to share, my email address is going to be down below as well, so feel free to send me a more detailed story. Most of these were posted or sent to me by my fellow Redditors, so thank you everyone so much. So yeah, let's get into the first story. I wanted to share my story about working for Sidor because it's a type of MLM that I think people are generally less aware of. I forgot my glasses, I'm blind without them, so let's continue. I was a recent college graduate and COVID layoff. Several months into a very disheartening job search, I was contacted about an account manager, door-to-door sales, positioned by a recruiter for a local small business, which I would later found out was a branch of Sidor. I took the job out of desperation and would spend the following 6 weeks suppressing my red flag sensor. Just wanted to say, as a fellow unemployed due to COVID, I do understand that it's very disheartening out there. You're just screaming into the void, sending applications, sending your CVs, and in my situation, you barely get any feedback. So it's very disheartening, and this is what happened to me as well when I was at my most vulnerable. This is when I was preyed on by an Avon representative, and she tried to use me being vulnerable and jobless to get me to invest money into Avon and become a rep. So yeah, I can totally relate to this. In between first contact with the recruiter and the start of my training was a job interview with a sales representative, let's call him Henry, which was less about vetting me and more about selling me the job, though I didn't recognize it at the time. Henry and I hit it off plenty well, partially because we had similar personalities and interests, and partially because I really needed a job and said whatever I thought needed to be said to get my foot through the door. Yeah, that's true. Also, Henry misled me about the pay structure. He made it sound like there was a base pay of $50 per day, when actually pay was commission only with no benefits. So this is absolutely terrible that he flat out lied to him. That interview was pretty much a microcosm of how I would be treated at this job. The other sales reps were mostly pretty nice to me, and I think we could have been friends under different circumstances, but I question the extent to which anyone was ever honest with me. We were trained to get sales by acting like abrasive summer camp counselors and treating every no as fundamentally irrational. The work schedule was all consuming. We were expected to spend about 42 hours per week going door to door. Jesus, that's a lot. Even if it was raining or snowing. 10 hours per week in meetings, which were mostly devoted to the glory of Sidor's sales mantras with some garden variety self-help pablum sprinkled in. In my own opinion, this sounds very cultish, shall we say? And one night per week hanging out as a team. So you have 42 hours going door to door and then 10 hours in meetings. That's already 52 hours of just working, and then plus you have to hang out with your team. I mean, I was never the one to really hang out. I like to keep my personal from professional, so I occasionally would go out with my colleagues, but I wouldn't get too close to them, if you get what I mean. I only had one or two close friends that I worked with, but I kind of like to keep my distance because I just don't want to mix personal and professional. I had a few bad, awkward experiences for getting friendly with people at work, and it would lead to misread situations, let's just say. So yeah, I like to keep my distance. So once per week to hang out with the whole team just sounds awful to me. Team nights could be held at a bar or at the house. Henry and 3 other sales representatives rented a house together. Totally not a cult. So yeah, that's exactly what I said. It sounds a lot like a cult, in my opinion. And his opinion. And quite rowdy. Some of the other sales representatives, aged 22 to 35, would drink a lot and behave like children. Why am I not surprised? Also, we had a rule against talking about negative things that happened in the field for fear of scaring off any new people. Jesus, that's very manipulative. The day I was promoted to team leader was the day I could no longer look away from the general sketchiness of this company. By this point, I had not gotten my weekly paycheck in over 2 weeks, and everyone I asked about it kept changing the subject. The owner, in reality more like a branch manager, wanted me to see firsthand how to do job interviews. So he had me pose as HR to sit in on Henry's giving an interview. How can you pose as an HR? That's... The interviewee asked a sort of basic skeptical questions that I realized I should have asked when I was being interviewed. Like, do you offer benefits? How flexible is the work schedule? And afterwards, Henry told me that he didn't think she was a good fit because of that. So yeah, this is what they do. This is also why they never say the name of the company they work for, is because they don't want you to do your research. They don't want you to see that it's actually an MLM company, and they don't want you to see that 99% of people fail. So they usually try to like do it very quickly. This is one opportunity. I only have 2 spots left, stuff like that, so that you join without thinking too much or without researching too much. So this person, she asked a lot of questions, and she obviously was suspicious of the opportunity. So Henry said she's not a good fit because she's asking too much questions. Also, the word Sidor didn't come up once during this interview, or mine, I realized, and that struck me as odd. Like I just said, yeah, they are not going to tell you the name of the company because they don't want you to do your research, and they don't want you to realize that you're actually working for an MLM. The next day, which was my day off, I did a lot of Googling and figured out that I was working for a pyramid scheme. I talked to my best friend about it, and he advised me to get out immediately. So the next morning, I dropped off all of my Sidor gear in my manager's apartment, along with a letter of resignation, and spent the day at my best friend's house. Henry and the owner both called me and texted me several times to try to convince me to stay, and I know they were reading off a script because some of what they said wasn't even applicable to my situation. That's so weird. After I stopped answering, they gave up. And aside from my final paycheck, I never heard from them again. I now have a real job, and I've never been happier. I'm super glad for you. Thank you for sharing this story. And yeah, I'm happy that you got out. This is another thing that I mention a lot in my top MLM fails and just general anti-MLM videos, is that it's all great. Like, we're all a team. You're supporting each other, la la la, empowering each other. But then if you start doubting the business model, or if you start thinking about leaving, or if you actually leave, like when you actually quit, a lot of the people that you thought were your friends from the team are just going to shut you out. So this is mostly, unfortunately, just for financial benefits. They're just being nice to you for their own gains and their own benefits, and then once they have nothing to get out of you anymore, they're just going to shut you out. And I've seen this happen a lot of times in MLMs. So the next one was posted on Reddit, and it's absolutely crazy. My family was threatened for not joining Avon or Tupperware. This happened about 18-ish years ago. I was about 7 years old. Came back home from school with police in my house and my mother very distressed. My auntie was with her and told me what happened. Also, this is in Australia. Our neighbor, which is also a dear friend down the road, has 2 businesses called Avon and Tupperware. Once again, being in an MLM scheme does not mean that it's your own business. You don't own Avon or Tupperware. So she wouldn't stop knocking on our door asking to speak to my mom with a somewhat big bag of products. My mom told her multiple times that she's not interested and can't afford the starting package. Looking back at this now, the lady knew we were broke, so it makes sense as to why she really wants my mom to change her life around. Yeah, they're going to try to, like, if you are very broke, they're going to try and get you to spend the last dollar that you have into starting this starter pack, because it's going to change your life. Like, it's an investment and you're going to get so much more out of it. But this is not exactly how it works. Like, no, 99% of people lose money. And imagine that, like, you move into a house and then you have this neighbor just knocking on your door trying to sell you all of these products and shit. Like, Jesus, how invasive is that? Like, I can't imagine. I'd be so stressed about it. We didn't hear from her for about a week, but there's always a but. She started sending her two hellspawns that were 2 years younger than me to talk to my mom and how she can be super rich, yet they were still living in a small shack with crumbled walls. Oh my god, yeah. At the time, my mom told them to flip off and to tell their mom not to come back, otherwise she will call the police. The lady rolls around about 5 minutes after the kids leave and an altercation started, which I don't really remember all that well, but it escalated enough for threats to be made sooner. She storms off after that, and a few hours after that, her husband comes around with the goblin spawns throwing eggs and rocks at the house. My dad stepped out to stop it all, and he threatened him by saying to sleep with one eye open because he's going to rape any woman in our house. My mother was the only one. The rest were 10 years or younger. What? This is horrible. This is absolutely insane. Fast forward to the day I walk in with cops and emotional parents in the living room. I found out that he came at the house with a woodcutting axe. Unfortunately, the rape threat was not enough for police to get involved, as it didn't happen yet because it's just a bluff. Self-defense laws don't really exist here, so can't lay a finger on intruders at all. I remember my dad not sleeping through the night for this so-called bluff. It all ended good for the family. Thankfully, no one was assaulted or anything. I think the MLM family moved out, or they moved out, or they just left them alone. I don't know. I seem to have lost the second screenshot. But yeah, it all ended well. Thankfully, his mother was okay. She wasn't assaulted. But just how insane is this? Like, can you imagine? I'd be scared to even imagine that you move into a new house and then this wacky neighbor is trying to talk to you, trying to sell you these shitty MLM products, trying to recruit you into a pyramid scheme. And when you say no, then the husband comes back and threatens to rape you. What kind of a family is this? Like, how is the MLM hun okay with her husband saying that he's going to assault a woman? Like, what is going on? What did I just read? I'm just speechless. I don't even know what to say to this, but I'm happy that they're okay and they didn't actually go through with the threats. But yeah, someone tells you they're gonna rape you and the police can't do anything because it's a bluff. It's just ridiculous. What? So you have to wait for someone to assault you in order to be able to get the police involved. I know this is what happens in most of the countries, but it's absolutely nerve-wracking. Like, it's so scary, and oh my god, I have to move on because this is triggering me. Okay, the next one. A fitness hunt tried to sell 15-year-old me weight loss pills. Oh my god. This story happened a few years back when I was 15. I used Facebook every day at this time and left a lot of comments on posts. That's how some fitness hunt found me. I don't remember the brand she worked for, but she sent me a message and the conversation went something like this. Hey sweetheart, I stumbled upon your profile and wanted to say you look absolutely gorgeous. Oh, thank you very much. I know this may sound weird, but could you please do me a favor? I'm working for this fitness coach company and we recently started this Facebook page. That could be Beachbody or Herbalife or something. It's just the word coach makes me think it's Beachbody. To give our customers the best experience, we look for people who aren't customers yet to check out our site. So could you please join our group for a week and then tell me what could we do better? What a manipulation tactic. I never encountered an MLM before and therefore didn't realize what I was about to get myself into. So I agreed happily, thinking I would actually help this company. After I joined the group, I quickly realized there was something wrong. The people only posted about dietary supplements from this weird company I've never heard of. It was a really typical MLM page. Or maybe it's not Beachbody. I don't know if Beachbody actually has like dietary supplements. Or maybe they do. I don't know. I seriously need to do more research. After a week, I wrote the lady who asked me to join a message. I told her how friendly everyone is with each other, but that they are missing real fitness stuff. Her response: thank you for your feedback. Actually, we are the company who sells the supplements and they are really good for you. Do you want to try them and join our family? A 15-year-old girl, you're asking. No, thank you. I'm only 15. I don't think that would be healthy for me. Haha. Then she says, of course it would be. Do you want to lose weight? Our products could help you get the body you desire. That's absolutely terrible, asking a 15-year-old to take weight loss pills. Actually, I'm undernourished and should rather gain weight more than lose it. Then she says, oh, that's no problem. Our products help with that too. Or you could try our hair pills. Oh my god. This went on for a few messages till I finally blocked her. Yeah, there's no other way. Like, with these types of Huns, they're just not gonna go away. You can tell them politely no for like 1,000 times. They're just not gonna go away until you block them. Like, you have to block them. They're not gonna leave you alone. So that's absolutely insane. To what extent these MLM Huns are gonna go, to who they're going to try and sell the products and recruit them is just insane. Like, using their family trauma, using the loss of a parent, using their children's trauma to try and get sympathy from people, to try and guilt people into buying something from them, trying to sell an underaged kid weight loss pills. That's actually insane. Threatening as well was like, when is this going to stop? This was 18 years ago with the thread as well. Okay, well, the last story for today is also by a fellow Redditor. I was with Body Shop for a year and Ann Summers for 6 months. Basically got roped into Body Shop by a friend of a friend as I was in need of money. Yeah, that's what they do. Vulnerable people in need of money. I suffer from depression and anxiety, which were both bothering me at the time, so she knew when to pounce me. And Ann Summers, I was again desperate for cash as needed to pay off my tuition fees at college. Managed to make sales on Body Shop, but was the same two customers always buying, and the fact you had to make £150 a month to stay on the system was crap. For Ann Summers, I only ever had one repeat customer and knew I wasn't going to get anywhere. By this time, my dad's health was going downhill. I'd left college to help my mom care for him and was at my lowest point. This is so sad, and I'm so sorry to hear about your dad. How they prey on vulnerable, desperate people. It's just so wrong. So basically, she says she always put out more money than she earned and was getting nowhere. And since she quit, her mental health had been a lot better. So I'm happy to hear that her mental health is better. I believe I messaged her about her dad and she said he was doing okay. It's tough, but they're hanging on, and I'm glad that you are out. If you're watching this, I'm very glad that you're out of the MLMs. I'm so sorry that they used your vulnerabilities to recruit you. It's just outrageous what they do, and these stories today were absolutely insane. A few of them left me completely speechless and kind of shook. But yeah, anyways, I think I'm going to wrap that up here, because yeah, these were a bit stressful to read, the one with the threat. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Again, thanks to everyone who sent me their stories. If you want to share your own experience with an MLM, I'm going to leave my email down below. So yeah, if you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more anti-MLM content. Thank you to all of my Instagram friends for your continued support, and if you're not coming from my Instagram, feel free to check me out. My username is evaamateja. All the links are going to be down below. And yeah, see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.